Right, welcome back to Car Trouble. So here's the challenge. I've got to find a car capable of crossing Europe in one go. I've got to find it, collect it, get it back here ready to go in 14 days. I'm not allowed to spend anything on it. It's got to be ready to go as it is. I can't just buy an old snotter and then spend loads of money doing it up, because that's cheating, innit? And it's got to cost less than £200. This should be interesting. Keep watching till the end, because as with all good YouTube videos, there's a good twist.
Come on, everybody! Clap.
Yeah, man, hey, listen, man, you is watching Car Trouble. Subscribe now, yeah, man, subscribe and click the notification.
Yeah, what he said.
Rasta say that.
Yeah, got it.
Yeah, man.
Right, so I better give you some context around this challenge. This is Ben. This is Posh Tim.
How do you do? Are you terribly well? Good cheer.
This is Sid. A couple of weeks ago, we were booking our annual ski trip to Bulgaria. Now, I say ski trip, it's more of a drinking trip with some skiing thrown in. Before you get all snobby about Bulgaria, because it's not Austria, the beer is really cheap. Every year we fly on some budget airline, and I said, we always fly over Europe and we always miss out on so many awesome countries. Why not have a road trip and drive there for a change? Immediately, two of the guys said, no way. And they had excuses ranging from, my wife won't let me go, it's too far, what if we break down? I'm not going in some death trap to Eastern Europe. Now Sid, who's up for everything, said, well, I'm up for it. Now, neither of us really fancied the idea of driving back. I mean, it's all very exciting on the way there, you know, on the way back with a multiple hangover, and it's the way back. It's never as exciting, is it? The thought of spending 5 days driving back sounded crap. So it's a one-way road trip then. So we can't take our own cars. And if we're leaving a car there, it's got to be really cheap. Really, really cheap. As in the price of 2 budget airline tickets cheap. Now the flights we were taking were about £100 each. So that's our target. That's where the £200 came from. Now, this car has also got to have some kind of chance of making it the 1900 miles through 10 countries without ditching us in some remote part of Eastern Europe. Now, this is harder than it sounds. Firstly, £200 isn't far above the scrap price for a car, so I'm going to be competing against scrap dealers to buy these cars. And let's not forget that even truly awful cars have probably got about £200 of spare parts on them. Secondly, finding a reliable car for less than £2,000 is a minefield, and this is £200. Thirdly, I have to work out what we're going to do with the car when we get there. There are reports of people just dumping cars when they get to the destination. I don't agree with that. I think it's wrong and it's antisocial. It's a dumb idea. And it's on YouTube as well. Plus, a little bit of digging on the internet shows you that if you enter the country by car, they've taken all the copies of the documentation, so they're going to know it was you anyway. So, with the challenge accepted, this is how I'm going to play this. First, I need to work out what to do with the car when we get there. There's no point even buying a car and starting this challenge if I'm going to get stuck with the car when we get there. Now, originally, I thought we could give the car away. In true YouTube style, we were going to find someone more deserving, and in some heartfelt video ending, we'd give the car to them. A bit like a really low-rent Mr. Beast. I know what you're thinking. Being given some old snot box is hardly like winning the lottery. But even if it's a crap car, it's still a free car. And it was a car that made it across Europe. If it gets there. Now, apart from the ball ache of trying to run around finding somebody to give the car to in a different language, which isn't how I wanted to spend my time there, I also just discovered that the lucky recipient's going to get smacked with import charges and fees to register the car. So it's not really much of a gift after all. Yeah, thanks very much for the bills. Plan B then, try and sell it. Oh, and use the money to offset the experiment. Make it cost neutral. Drive across Europe for free. Yeah, I can see the thumbnail now. Anyway, I've had a quick look online to see if there's any information on selling a car as a foreigner in Bulgaria. Most of it, unsurprisingly, is in Bulgarian, but I have found this. In order for the sale of a used car between two private individuals to be considered legal, both the seller and the buyer must sign a vehicle purchase contract, ? Documents required. Proof of address registration obtained for the local address registration office, ? Usually contract. Oh, can't be bothered with that. Alright, so I can see from digging around the internet that I'm not going to be able to sell it as a private citizen. So, dealer. Let's try and find a dealer. Try and find a dealer to sell it to. I don't understand Bulgarian, so these sites don't mean anything to me. I've emailed 4 dealers I could find email contacts for. I even wrote in googly translated Bulgarian as well as English. They've all ignored my emails except for one, and his response was just, sorry, we're not interested. To sell the car, try Karatabab. Oh, this looks nice, I thought, so I emailed them as well, and they didn't respond either. So it looks like dealers out there aren't interested in the cheap car. Plan C. Scrap it as the last option. Just going to have to drive it there and scrap it. It's the only legal way to get out of the car now. It looks like one company pretty much has a monopoly on car scrappage in Sofia. I've emailed them, heard nothing back, so I'm going to give them a call. Hello, do you speak English? Does anybody there speak English? Okay, bye then. Okay, well, that was the guy in charge of car scrappage at this company. A few hours later, out of desperation, I tried calling again. This time I was bounced around 3 different people, but eventually was put in contact with a lady who could speak English. She told me they weren't interested in scrapping the car, as I might be trying to commit insurance fraud. I tried pointing out it's a really long way to go to try and defraud an insurance company on a £100 car. She still said no.
How hard is it to get rid of a cheap car? Dealers don't want a cheap car. Scrap dealers don't want any scrap.
I've got one final scrap merchant to try in Sofia. If that's a no, I have to ditch the challenge. Here we go, final email. I started with Doshki Broshki Brezhenkak, which roughly translates to, do you accept cars for scrap or recycling? Short and sweet. And I got a reply straight away. Yes, we do. I wrote back and asked if they could take a car from us for scrap if we get it there. He said, yes, we can do that for you. Surely you shouldn't expect to receive more than 200 to 300 leather, depending on the car. And pow, like that, we're back in the game. So it looks like at the current exchange rate, they're going to give us about £85 for a smallish car. We just have to turn up with the car, the registration document, and Boris is your uncle. Okay, right, after all that, we now have a way to offload the car when we get there. Now I just need to find a car. So I decided the best strategy for this car is to go undesirable. People pay for image, and reliability costs money too. Cool, reliable cars command a premium. One of the few exceptions to this rule are Range Rovers. They're cool, apparently, and therefore expensive, but woefully unreliable. But even though people have no idea whether they'll ever reach a destination in one, people still pay big money to buy them.
You can't fix stupid.
Brands and models perceived to be uncool lower the car's value. Even undesirable colours can lower the value. Cosmetic details that normally put buyers off are really going to work in my favour. Horrible cars are what I need. I need things that are going to bring the value down and potentially get us a more reliable car under the budget. Reliability over imageability. This is quite exciting. It's a totally opposite way of buying a car. Normally you're looking for a model that you don't mind being seen in, not a horrid colour, good condition, no dents, no rust, maximum spec. Normally you wouldn't buy a car that people have given up on life would buy, or a really grim colour, but for us, beige is perfect. We need the kind of stuff that puts other buyers off. No aircon? Great. Windy windows? Even better. Has it got any dents? Yeah. Oh, good. Any rusty bits? Yeah. Awesome. Steel wheels? Cool. Curved alloys? Nice. Let's remember, this thing's only got to last another couple of weeks. The only luxury we're not willing to compromise on is the heater. It has to have a working heater. We're going to be travelling through some pretty cold places and we don't want to freeze to death, and we need to be able to see where we're going. It's kind of important. To be legal for the length of our journey, I've got to find a car that has at least 2 weeks and 5 days of MOT left. It just needs to have a valid MOT up until the day we arrive at the scrap merchant in Sofia. Anything less than that and we're risking big trouble with the authorities. And I don't really want to end up in a Serbian jail with some guy tattooing a pair of boobs on my back.
Who's your daddy?
And also it's a bit irresponsible to drive with an expired MOT, blah 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 blah. Right, so let's have a look what's available. I'd given myself a few weeks to secure a car, but I was realising that the few cars that fitted the criteria always went for too much money, or they needed work doing straight away, or they didn't have enough MOT left. Now remember, it's easy to buy a broken car very cheaply, there's loads of them around, but I can't spend anything, so buying a car that needed work to pass an MOT just won't work for us. Okay, so the search needs to be really generic to catch all the possibilities. The only search criteria we actually want is the car needs to be less than £200. The problem with this is it brings up all those stupid ads for finance deals. And also there's much more expensive cars that haven't been bid above £200 but are obviously going to finish up an awful lot more. So the way around this is to only select the registration years of cars that are realistically going to finish under £200. So I'm going to be generous and say anything more than a 2006 isn't going to be £200, and if it is, it's going to be horrific. So let's tick all the boxes of cars for every year up to 2006, and even that's a bit of a stretch. After looking at page after page of disappointing shit boxes, one of the more promising finds was this 2004 Hyundai Elantra Diesel, one of the ugliest cars ever made, which is perfect, but the auction ended £25 over budget, and that was with a worryingly high clutch bite. Then I tried to buy this quirky and slightly camp 1999 Nissan Micra 1 litre. It was painted like this as it had done a charity rally, so potentially a decent runner, and I really hoped the paint job would put people off. But that auction ended at £260. See, what I like about this car is it's just listed as car. That's a good sign. It means that anyone searching for a specific model isn't going to see this. Only people who've done a really generic search, like me, are going to find this car that's listed as car. What are you selling? Car. Oh, 3 weeks of MOT left. That's cutting it fine. That gives me a couple of days grace. Rusty bits? Good. 141,000 miles with no service history. Driver's door locks with the key but won't unlock. Can live with that. Slight crack in the headlight. Can live with that. So I'm going to bid on this. I've got to bid up to my maximum. I'm going to bid £200. I'm going to bid up to £200 in the closing seconds. £175. £175. We're in. Yes. That's £25 under budget. £25 under budget, and I know it's a bit horrible and snotty, but a Polo diesel. That's proper old school agricultural diesel. If it's running, theoretically, it should stay running. That's awesome. Old school German diesel. 64 horsepowers of fury. If it's got any of them left, that is. So I thought things were going well. Turns out there's a legal requirement to have winter tyres in 4 of the countries that we're travelling through. Not just mud and snow, winter tyres. And I've got to break the rule because this is a legal requirement. I can't get around it. It's not like changing the fan belt. I've got to have them. Otherwise I'm breaking the law. Now this is going to set me back about £200 new unless I can find something used online. Now I found these set of 4 Dunlop Response tyres on alloy rims with winter tyres on an auction that ended today. And in the closing seconds I bid £70 and I won them for £40, which is an awesome result, except for the fact that I then get an email from the owner saying he's changed his mind and he's going to keep them. Yep, one of those bellends. Greedy, time-wasting, deal-welching scumbag smeghead. And unfortunately you can't do anything about it. eBay won't step in. eBay could contact him and tell him, you have to go through with the transaction. And he'll say, no I don't. What are you going to do? And they'll go, alright then. Have a nice day. What a waste of time. Oh, now I've got to try and find another set of tyres. I can't spend £200 on new tyres for a car that's going to be scrapped in 5 days. Oh, what a waste of time. There has to be something else on here. Please! Right, I've watched a few auctions and most of the car tyres that I need are too much money, but they're a really odd size. They're small wheels, so there's not much around. I have found a set of 4 Vegestein snow track tyres, whatever that means. They're not on wheels, so I'm going to have to pay to get them fitted. Now they're on a buy it now or best offer for £110, so I'm going to stick in a cheeky offer of £55. Now, I've emailed her and not heard anything for 2 days, so she's emailed me now. Sorry, the car's no longer for sale. What? What? And I emailed them back and said, listen, if this is because you want more money for the car, I could probably offer a little bit more. I've got up to £200. Okay, a couple of days passed, good news and bad news. My cheeky offer of £55 for the winter tyres has been accepted. Woohoo! I've heard back from the Polo owner as well. And she says, hello, really sorry for the sporadic responses. I'm in a remote location with terrible connection. Not interested in more money. More interested to know if you will not be buying the car for scrap. Is it still usable and still drives really well? Just past the MOT too, so good for another year. At the moment, not going to be able to arrange anything till 6th, so would that be okay with you? What? Hey, you can't have the car. Oh, by the way, since you bought it, I've MOT'd it. What? So I've responded back, does that mean I can buy the car? Or are you just telling me it's had an MOT? To rub my face in it? What's going on? I need this car. We're leaving in like 4 days. Okay. Right, so I've heard back from the Polo owner and she's basically explaining that she doesn't want to sell the car to anyone that's going to scrap it, but it kind of stops my plans. But then again, I don't think anyone's really got a right to tell you what to do with the car after you've bought it from them. Just me. Now, I don't have any choice. I'm committed to this car now, so I'm probably going to have to be a bit flexible with the truth about what we're going to do with this car, because they've used up all the time that I've got to buy a car. I just don't have time to buy anything else in time for the trip. So my return email, I have no intention of scrapping the car. I just really need this car because I'm giving my car to someone. I don't know, what do I say? Okay, right, 2 days to go till we're supposed to be going. I still haven't heard back from the owner, but as I've committed to buy these tyres, and I'm not an eBay smeghead, I need to go and buy them. There's a chance I'm going to get stuck with these tyres without the car, but it's not this chap's fault, so they're 60 miles away, so I just need to go and get them. As there's only 2 days left, I've emailed the owner back again and I've reported him to eBay. I mean, they only had a feedback score of 1 anyway, but I've reported them and given negative feedback. But it looks like I'm the proud owner of 4 winter tyres I don't need and a ruined trip. So I'm not quite sure what to do now. So I've heard back from the owner and I've read the email because I didn't want to have any more disappointment on camera. But yeah, she's basically said, thanks for your reassurances. And then goes on to mention that it's got some rust spots, it doesn't have aircon, it doesn't like to be left without being used for a week, otherwise it won't start. Central locking doesn't work on the driver's door, you have to unlock it from inside the car. But also she says, mentions again that she's had the MOT done, and also she said for the price, for all the hassle I've caused you, I'm going to reduce it to £100. She's going to sell me the car for £100? £100 for a car with a full MOT? Hang on a minute. MOT's £48 and she's just paid for that. And I'm getting that on a car for £100? Yes! 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 So I've got 1 day, i.e. tomorrow, to collect this car. And it's in Walthamstow, which is about just over a 2-hour drive from here. But I've got to get a train into London and out the other side. And I've asked them for their address, and it's a home-based superstore. Huh? So I'm going to get murdered then. Train tickets. So the sellers have just left. They didn't want me to film them, which I can understand. They wanted to meet in this home-based car park, which I thought was a bit dodgy, and I wouldn't normally recommend that, but they seemed to think I was more of a threat to them than I was. They seemed to think I was more of a threat to them. Anyway, yeah, so we did the deal. It was £100. I thought, you know, if I get killed for £100, it's not a lot of money. You know, we've got the car. They've left. Time to talk you through it. So look at the outside of it in a second. Inside, it all seems to be all right, in order. Everything works, I think. There's some water in the bottom passenger footwell, which is a bit of a worry. Central locking doesn't work. You can lock the driver's door from the driver's door, but you can't unlock it, you have to climb. And the boot only locks with the key in it and unlocks with the key in it, or something like that. Or you lose your luggage, which is one of the two. It's got electric windows, which work. And it's got a heater that works, and it's got a 1990s stereo. Some of you may have never seen one of these things before. A few stains on the seats. Nothing we can't add to. Let's try and get the bonnet open and see what horrors lie beneath. Doesn't look too bad. Inside the expansion tank looks very brown, like it's had rad weld or something. Some kind of purple paint over a really bad scuff. Got more purple house paint used with a house brush to paint over a scratch of some kind. Got some rust on the rear, rust on the door, another weird painted purple scratch. A cracked indicator, we've got a scuff on the bumper. Bonnet, it's got some lacquer peel. This is quite nasty. We've got crack in the headlight. Going past the MOT. Nice big pinky purpley scuff. Rust on the door. That'll buff out. Nice big scuff. More rust on the door. Some rust on the back door. Rust down on the sill. Yeah, buff out. Oh, I need to get the tyres fitted. So that's it. All set, apart from the fact I've got about 2 hours to pack for a 6-day car trip and a 5-day drinking skiing trip. Thanks for watching. Please do subscribe so you don't miss the next video, which will be us attempting to cross Europe in this pile of crap. Right, so do I need a sleeping bag for when we break down, or something to bribe the jail guards with?